Hello and welcome to Crossroads Check-In, here every week to take a look back over what's been happening in our favourite local daily serial and ahead to what's coming up over the next week. Now I'm sorry we weren't here last week, we had a couple of episode mix-ups to sort out, but with any luck we're back on track now. We've got a couple of nice little surprises for you over the next few weeks, and don't forget John Drury is going to be back a little later today to look at some more of the locations used in Crossroads. Now of course you can always let us know how much you're enjoying Crossroads again, so why not give us a shout? You know where we are, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube. All you got to do is search for Big Centre TV. And if you want to email us direct, then it's crossroads@bigcentre.tv. Oh, and if you fancy putting pen to paper in proper old school style, then our address is Crossroads Check-In, Big Centre TV, 14A, Lower Hall Lane, Walsall, WS1 1RL. Alan Smith is an avid viewer of Crossroads and he remembers a couple of interesting storylines which don't seem to exist anymore. Alan says, "Two storylines I recall. The first was in the very early days of the show and concerned what was supposed to be poltergeist activity at one of the chalets. Story was never resolved as an announcement before an episode stated the story had to be halted. My guess is complaints to the IBA as the story was pretty scary. Second storyline comes circa 1973 to 74, I think. Meg Richardson returned from a trip to Birmingham Airport, I think, and had completely lost the last 5 years of her memory. I had hoped some of the early 70s episodes screened a while back had featured this storyline, but sadly no. Perhaps Lee might recall that one." Well, you know what? Unfortunately, I don't. If that time period's right, I'd have been around 1 year old at the time. However, Alan has had another think, and he told us, "The 1960s one of the haunted chalet I'm not so clear on, as I recall it was curtailed pretty quickly. Perhaps the only possible way of finding anything of these would be trawling through public library held copies of TV World or TV Times editions, but that would take a lot of time, and there's no guarantee that the older story would be mentioned. The 1974 one would be, as that lasted about 2 whole months," from Alan. Well, Alan, as you know, we took your advice and we now think we might be able to pin down some of the dates in question. Now, it's worth remembering that Big Centre TV is connected with Kaleidoscope, the Archive TV Society, and one of the archive researchers, Simon Coward, who also produces the ad show on Big Centre, has indeed been able to look back through some of the old editions of the TV Times. Now, often the listings would feature a random line of dialogue and could refer to anything. However, here's what Simon has found. Firstly, for the poltergeist activity, there are 2 potential episodes. 5th of July 1966, Carlos, Mr. Benson. I have to ask you one question first. Do you believe in ghosts? And the other one is the 26th of September 1967, Jeff. Carlos, what's up? You look like you've seen a ghost. Now I admit they're a little obscure. However, the subject of Meg losing her memory does seem to be a little clearer. Simon looked through a number of the regional editions and this is what he's found. 20th of March 1974, why is Meg late after her business assignment at the airport? That was in the Anglia region. The 26th of March 1974, suffering from loss of memory, Meg Richardson faces the problem of finding out about friends she has forgotten, also from Anglia. On the 10th of April 1974, Hugh Mortimer's business problems, overshadowed by Meg's illness, take a turn for the worse when a colleague returns from Australia. Now that was in the local ATV edition. And then on the 12th of April 1974, as Meg's memory returns, certain people have cause for concern. That was also in this area. 16th of April 1974, Meg's memory is returning. What caused her amnesia was the rumour that Malcolm Ryder was alive and that she's still married to him. Now that was from the southern area in the south of England. But there you go. Sadly, there's a whole section of Crossroads history which no longer exists. And these episodes are slap bang right in the middle of it. Fascinating stuff, Alan. Thanks to Alan Smith for telling us about them, and thanks to Simon Coward for looking into it all for us. And of course, if anyone watching can explain any further on any of these storylines, then you know where we are. I'll remind you again shortly. Next, Phil Wilson from Great Bar has been in touch with a funny but true story of how he actually managed to meet the legendary Noel Gordon. He says, "My memory of Noel Gordon, it was 1975 and I lived about 20 minutes away from Noel in Handsworth. I had a copy of Noel's hardback book. One evening around 8:30, I went round to her home in Handsworth Wood. Not knowing what to expect, I knocked on her door. No answer. I started to walk back home. About 5 minutes later, a police car pulled up and ordered me to get in. They drove me round to Noel's house. Her agent lived in the next block and kept a constant eye on her front door. I didn't know this. He called the police and given a description of me. The police and myself went to her door, which she opened this time round. She had curlers on and a dressing gown on. They explained that all I wanted was an autograph. She invited us all into her small hall. She went to get a pen and then shouted through, 'Would you like a photo?' We all went through to a small lounge where she signed a photo, slightly told me off as it wasn't the best time to call, but then she signed my book, To Philip at Last, Noel Gordon. I guess the at last referred to all I went through to get it. Tell you what, it just goes to show, doesn't it, how big the show was back in the day and how much people really love those stars. Well, thank you, Phil, for telling us your story. It's brilliant. And of course, if you have your own Crossroads story to tell, maybe you met the stars like Phil, maybe you've got a nagging memory of a storyline, maybe you can fill in the gaps between episodes, maybe even you've got some photos of something to do with Crossroads, or if you just want to tell us what you think of the show now, please do keep them coming in. Plenty of ways you can get in touch. Take your pick. Facebook and Twitter is Big Centre TV, or you can use the hashtag BCTVCrossroads to highlight your message. Of course, the email address, if you want it, crossroads@bigcentre.tv. And finally, if you like a bit of old school and fancy writing us a letter, that's no problem at all. The address, Crossroads Check-in, Big Centre TV, 14A, Lower Hall Lane, Walsall, WS1 1RL. And bear with us just for a short while because I'm a little bit behind with the emails. We've had so many coming in. Anyway, still to come in today's show, we've got our regular look back at some of the recent happenings, and we'll be taking a quick look ahead to some of the things we can expect to see during next week too. And of course, John Drury is going to be back again with another in his series of interesting looks behind the scenes on Crossroads, looking at the locations used. Now it's time to look back across the week at what's been happening in and around our favourite motel.
What's wrong?
Albert reckons the beer's off.
Huh?
No, I am spoilt, that's all.
Spoiled?
Yes, on home brews. Got a completely different flavour, you know.
There you are then. That's the reason.
You brew your own then, do you?
Yes, got the complete kit at home. Hey, have you ever tried a really good home-brewed bitter?
Yeah, once. It tasted like vinegar.
Well, obviously it wasn't made right then. You wouldn't say that if you tried one of mine. It's the real McCoy.
Go on, it's all wind and... no flavour.
Well, I can see that I shall have to take you in hand, lad. Next to one of my brews, this stuff tastes like water.
Tasteless, Fred always said.
Monsieur Zola told me you saw through our little charade.
Yes, I think he gave me top marks.
No. If you had passed the information on to me, collected the £500 I offered, then told us you knew it was a test, then you would have got top marks.
You know, the more I think about this job, the less I like it.
Don't turn it down now. Life can be so exciting for you if you play your cards right.
Yeah, well, what do you want,
I
Amy?
just want to leave a bit early. I'm going out with my friend tonight, Mr. Robbins again, you see.
I see.
He's took quite a fancy to me, you know.
Oh, well, that's nice. How do you feel about him?
Oh, he's lovely, one of nature's gentlemen. He makes his own beer and all, you know.
That's handy. Sandy,
How is he?
well and happy?
He'll probably want to reorganise us when he gets back.
I doubt it. You look like a cat that's got at the cream.
I went over to the manor house earlier today.
Oh, yes?
That's why you'd like to know that I was right.
My singing's a lot better than you were playing, you ask anybody.
Your voice certainly gets a lot more practice. Chatter, chatter,
At
chatter.
least I don't put on ears and greases when I'm talking.
Jill, I only called round because I promised Sheila I would.
Yeah, well, the family's come back unexpectedly.
Oh, well, that doesn't matter. The boat could do with a good clean anyway. Is everything all right?
Well, no, as a matter of fact. We've had some bad news about Will's brother in Cradley Heath.
Is he all right?
Well, we don't know, but Dad got a bit upset and Stan's gone to look for him.
Oh, well, I better make myself scarce then, ain't I? Let me know if there's anything I can do, won't you?
Thanks.
See you, Jill.
Yeah, bye, James.
See you then.
Found him.
No, there's no sign of him down the road either.
Oh, well, never mind. Have a cup of tea.
Charlie Forward.
In person.
What you
Are you
doing?
glad to see me, love?
I don't know as I should be. What you doing back here?
Oh, this and that, you know. Oh, well, I see duty calls. I mustn't keep you.
I'm surprised you know the meaning of the word.
Still the same old Amy. Still come out with it, can't you?
How's your Sandra getting on?
Oh, she's fine. Still living in Jersey with Paul, enjoying life. Is Mrs. Richardson about?
She's inside, I expect. Why do you want to see her?
Just to pass the time of day, you know. Yeah, it's quite a lot of new faces. Times change.
Times do, people don't. Oh, I'd give a lot to know what he's come back here for.
Hello. You helping Stan out?
It's Martin at the shop, Mr. Hunter. What can I do for you?
Well, I want this transistor mended.
Oh, well, Stan's the expert. If you can tell me what's wrong with it, I'll pass it on.
Yeah, well, it's volume. Sometimes it's very quiet. And suddenly it blares out like that.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's Miss Feeney. She rents the room upstairs.
Does she often bang like that?
Ah, too often.
And what do you do about it?
Knock right back.
And we'll be looking forward to what's coming up next week in part 2. Right, we're just going to take a short break now, but don't go anywhere because in part 2 we'll be taking a good look ahead to what's coming up on Crossroads during next week. And of course John Drury will be back with a look at some of the locations used on Crossroads. So we'll see you after the break. Welcome back and thanks for checking in with Crossroads here on Big Centre TV. Still to come, we're going to have a look ahead to some of the episodes we're going to be showing during the coming week. Time now though for another in our occasional looks behind the scenes with John Drury, looking at some of the locations used in Crossroads.
Hello, thanks for joining me as I take yet another look at some of the locations used during the filming of Crossroads. This time I'm focusing on episodes from August and September 1973. Now this period coincides with the time when Sandy Richardson was left paralysed following a serious car accident. The episodes that remain in the archive showcase the extensive location filming that took place in the historic city of Coventry. In several of the episodes, Meg is preoccupied with the statue of the Coventry Boy. Unveiled in 1966, the statue is located outside the Student Union building on Priory Street. Opposite the statue is the entrance to the new cathedral. Designed by Sir Basil Spence to replace the one damaged during the Blitz of 1940, it opened in 1962, 10 years before these episodes were filmed.
Hello.
Do you know they used a helicopter to lower the top on there?
Yeah, I remember.
It's a beautiful cathedral.
In the next scene, Jill and David are standing outside the distinctive Chapel of Unity. The walls are clad with green slate, contrasting beautifully with the sandstone of the cathedral.
Okay?
I'm not sure that I'm doing the right thing, though.
There's nothing more you can do in there, Jill.
His mum, I mean, she'll be sitting on that chair all night.
Spence insisted that instead of rebuilding the old cathedral, it should be kept in ruins as a garden of remembrance. The use of sandstone for the new Coventry Cathedral symbolises a link between the two buildings. Inside the new cathedral is the tapestry of Christ in Glory. At 75 feet high, it is said to be the largest tapestry in the world made in one piece. Another striking feature is the beautiful baptistry window. It's 81 feet high and made from 195 panels of coloured glass. Meg visits the Chapel of Christ in Gethsemane, seen here through a crown of thorns made from iron. The Georgian building used as the exterior of the hospital can be found on Priory Row. During the Blitz, the interior was destroyed. However, it was rebuilt in the 1950s. At the time of filming, it was being used as office space by the cathedral. It's now Grade 2 listed. It really is great to find that locations used over 40 years ago still look much the same today. I hope you enjoyed this chance to look at some more of the real places used during the filming of Crossroads, and I hope to show some more of them to you very soon.
And John will be with us again in a couple of weeks' time. Next week we'll be hearing more about the early years of Crossroads from none other than Jane Rossington. OK, now it's time to look ahead to what we can expect during the coming week's episodes of Crossroads here on Big Centre TV. And as ever, do remember that there are probably some potential spoilers ahead. And we're back into black and white briefly as Sheila returns home to a warmer reception from Wilf than she expected. Timothy and Kevin discuss Meg's eligibility for marriage and end up making a gentleman's bet to see who gets her first. Meanwhile, it's Jane's first day at the motel and she mistakes David Hunter for a guest.
Hello?
Oh, can I help you?
Well, I was looking for Mrs. Cunningham, actually.
Oh, she's in the cellar.
Ah.
Guests aren't allowed in there.
Oh.
Not that I mind for myself, you understand. It's just that I'd hate to get you into trouble.
I see.
She won't be a minute, you know, but I'd clear off if I were you in case one of the directors catches you.
You're new here, aren't you?
Yes, how did you know?
I didn't recognize the face.
Oh, come to that, I haven't seen you around here before either.
No, well, I've been away, you see.
I tell you what, you give me your Shally number and I'll get her to call in a minute.
Now, that would be rather difficult.
Oh, no, it's no trouble.
Well, no,
Mr. Hunter, welcome home. How was Rome?
Fabulous, thank you.
Mr. Hunter, have you two met?
Yes, we have.
The Mr. Hunter?
I'm afraid so.
Oh, no. I thought you was one of the guests. Hardly.
Don is put on the spot when Patricia asks him if he wants to go through with the marriage. Vera's godson Martin plays on her emotions to stop being sent back to his dreaded Aunt Bertha.
What's he going?
In the pot. I rang your Aunt Bertha.
Oh.
We had a long chat. Seems you haven't been entirely straight with me.
Eh?
About the way she treated you.
What did she say?
Well, to put it bluntly, that you're a right little tearaway. That you went out nearly every night with a gang on motorcycles. That you brought girls back and set up drinking and doing God knows what. Shall I go on?
Well, you don't believe her, do you?
Of course I do.
Oh, come on, Vera. It's nothing like that, really. Well, besides, she's middle-aged. She's bound to be a bit old-fashioned, isn't she?
You'd be surprised how old-fashioned I can be as well.
You? Oh, come on, Vera. I bet you're a right little raver on the quiet, eh?
You cheeky little... Oh, well, I'd be sorry to lose you.
Well, you're not going to send me back, are you?
Well, the sooner the better.
But I'm your godson.
I know, love. But your mother left you in your Aunt Bertha's care. Not mine.
Wilf and Stan have a birthday drink with a misery. Sheila buys herself a wedding ring in order to stop the idle chatter about her impending birth. And David has his hands full with a predatory Italian lady.
Now, look, love, I'm not an ogre, but I don't have any choice. His mother left him in the care of his Aunt Bertha. I can't go interfering.
Won't you mean?
What's got into you?
Look, you're being so unfair.
You don't know the facts, love. I wasn't going to bother to tell you this, but it seems our Martin played his old aunt a merry tune.
He told me.
He did?
Look, the real reason that he went with those friends and drank and things was because he was so miserable. But you wouldn't understand.
All right, calm down. Now, what did he have to be so miserable about?
Well, wouldn't you be stuck out in the middle of nowhere with only a nagging old aunt nattering at you all day long? He just rebelled against her strictness, that's all. And he admits it if you bother to talk to him.
Well, I have talked to him.
When? Not properly. He came here to make a fresh start, to get away from his aunt and all them friends. And all you're doing is just sending him right back. You are his godmother.
While Sandy mopes, Meg has a minor domestic argument with Hugh over breakfast. Don and Pat's wedding increasingly becomes taken over by her interfering but well-meaning mother.
Are you going to make a night of it, or shall I travel home with you?
No, you Scarper. Life's a mess, isn't it?
Could be worse, love.
What?
Oh, hello, Pat. Hello. Oh, you don't know my mother, do you? Vera Downend.
Hello.
Hello.
And Sheila Harvey.
Hello.
Oh, going to be a mother soon too, I see.
Yes.
You first?
Yes, my first.
Take my advice, dear. Don't stop at one.
Thank you.
When are you expecting it?
Soon.
And what are you hoping for, a boy or a girl?
Neither.
Just so long as it's a baby,
Oh, I'm sure it will be.
Yes, of course. And how about your husband? I expect he wants a son for the first baby. Most husbands do.
I'm not married. And as for the baby's father, well, I'm sure he couldn't care less whether it's a son, a daughter, or kittens. Excuse me.
Excuse me. Hang on, love.
Don is appalled to find out that his nice, quiet wedding is now expanding to ridiculous proportions, thanks to his mother-in-law-to-be. Hugh and Meg hunt for a new house to move into once they're married.
Pat, could I talk to you for a minute?
Oh, I want to talk to you too. Mum's getting very worked up about you.
Me? Why?
Because you haven't invited your mum to the wedding. Oh, she's only wondering, darling. I mean, it will look odd.
What's so odd about it? I don't want her to come. It's as simple as that.
But why?
Because she'd ruin everything. She always has. She'd say things. It's that way with her. Now it's my turn.
Eh?
To do some talking. This time about your mum.
Mum, what about her?
Oh, look, Pat. She's kind, she's considerate, but everything's getting out of hand.
What do you mean?
The wedding arrangements, you and me, we decided on a nice, quiet little affair, no fuss, but now...
Well, look, she's doing her best for us, Don.
No, love, it's just...
Just what?
Well, that I'm not allowed to make any decisions anymore. House was the last straw.
And what else?
The wedding, where we live, how we live. Just about everything else we're gonna do.
Look, don't be ungrateful, Don. She's giving up a lot of time to come and help us, let alone the money she's spending.
So there you go, that's all to come on Crossroads right here on Big Centre TV every night at 9. Well, we've run out of time again here on Crossroads Check-In, but I'll be back at the same time next week, so don't forget, if there's something about Crossroads you'd like to tell us about, maybe you can fill in some of the gaps in the storylines, maybe you've got some fond memories of some of the episodes we're showing, who's your favourite character, or which bits of Crossroads are you looking forward to seeing again soon? Just get in touch. Look us up on social media, Big Centre TV. Email crossroads@bigcentre.tv, or actually write to us, and the address again, Crossroads Check-In, Big Centre TV, 14A, Lower Hall Lane, Walsall, WS1 1RL. And thank you for checking in with Crossroads. I'll see you again next week. Crossroads Motel, can I help you?